What is Alfred, the king who burnt his cakes, and Mendelssohn, the man who wrote one of the most famous wedding marches, got in common? We're in Tiverton today. It's a beautiful, beautiful town, and it has got so much to offer. We're going to discover not only the answer to the two questions I've already asked, but also a castle that fell with a single shot. That should be interesting too. There are shops for us to take a look at, but the weather is so glorious, we're hoping for some scenery in the town too. I know the River Exe runs right through the town, and we have realised on arrival it has at least 2 churches, because we're beginning here at St. Paul's on our journey through the town, but we're heading to St. Peter's, which we understand has got features that have caught people by surprise, and one writer in a newspaper said that it's jaw-dropping. So that is something we definitely want to see. So let's get on our way.
Look at this building. It's the town hall here in Tiverton, and it is pretty impressive, and I think so French. Usually we're in France in May and the buildings look like that, and now we're in Tiverton and it's a little touch of France in the middle of an English town. Oh, let's have a look what's for sale here. This is in Clumpton and it is 1,150,000. Very nice. Oh, something a little cheaper. In Tiverton, £1 million. Oh, there's a real bargain. £695,000. Something a little cheaper there, £245,000. Well, that's very modern.
I like the one above.
That's the one you like, is it?
Yeah.
Right, this is the one I like. In Clumpton.
Oh.
825,000. Look at that.
You have got expensive taste.
I do, and isn't it beautiful? Ooh,
is.
look at those chimneys.
Yeah, lots and lots of valleys and roofs and chimneys.
The Arts Festival this way. Building for a charity shop, and what a grand building for a bank. And I love these flags. Flags are just so cheerful.
There's a man in here.
Oh, let's go and say hello.
Hello, man.
Hello.
Where he's protected under this archway, look how sharp the lines are on the carving. So
very nice. And look at this little door. This is what I love. Isn't that quaint?
Yeah, I'll be your measuring stick.
The Phil would definitely have to deck.
This is not a 6-foot door.
Look, some gargoyles and some figures and a beautiful window. Stained glass behind that wire. And another quaint little window down there. It's very low. And some lovely paint and wrought iron work up there too. I like this building. These almshouses and adjoining chapel were built by John Greenway, cloth merchant of Tiverton, admitted to the Drapers Company in 1497. Tiverton Almshouse Trust continues to provide housing for local people.
Can you see on the man there the difference, because he's out in the weather?
Very warm. I like the flag, and I also like this glass. Isn't it pretty? It's marbled. You've got that purple one for £35, the blue one for £25, and little ones for £9.99. Look at this. Frou Frou Cafe Bar and Bistro with a very Toulouse-Lautrec style sign up there. And look in there. Isn't that a bit of posh? What a shame it's not open. Oh, I love their lamp. It's very tasteful, but closed. Look at this gorgeous rose bush. I wonder if it smells. Oh yes, can you smell that? See if you can smell this one. Oh, beautiful smell on those.
And here we are at the Church of St. Peter's. And what a church. 1073, that's when the very first bishop in this region consecrated this as a church. Not that that's when worship began on this site, but that's when it was recognized as a place of worship by the Norman conquerors who had arrived in the UK, as many of you will know by now, in 1066. But when we look at the building today, it's a very much a mishmash of bits and pieces from different times and eras. There's still a Norman doorway, but the tower, that's from the 15th century. But it's in the 16th century that there was a real mark put on this place. And it's got a beauty about it, there's no denying that. It's been commented on by so many observers down the years, historians, architectural specialists, and the British heritage. But it has to be said that what went on here in the 16th century was definitely, as one writer put it, ostentatious. That's when the money in this place belonged in the hands of the cloth merchants and the clothiers. They really had the wealth and they spent it. They spent a lot of it on themselves, they had fine houses, they lived in luxury, but of course they also wanted to be remembered. And there was one particular man, the richest of them all back then in the 16th century, at least here in Tiverton, and that was John Greenway. And boy did he make sure he was remembered. His name is written on this chapel. He has got his insignia and his coat of arms all over it. If you're wondering why there are images of ships when this is not a port, it's because of the wealth he created by being a successful tradesman. I get the feeling that whilst the chapel itself, I'm sure, has been used for worship, there's a real feeling to me that this was built more to the glory of John Greenway than it ever was to the glory of God. John Greenway even had carvings of images of himself and his wife put either side of Mary above the doorway in the entrance porch. It's no wonder that Sir Nicholas Pevsner, a historian born in Germany and then came to England, wrote in one of his 46 volumes of country guides, a gorgeously ostentatious display of civic pride. And the English heritage described Greenway Chapel as a tour de force of the late Perpendicular decoration. It really is, as that one man said, jaw-dropping. The Greenway Chapel was built in 1517, but you have to move up to 1696 if you want to find the link between this place and Mendelssohn's Wedding March. Now, I know you're all thinking Mendelssohn wasn't writing in the 1600s. No, he was writing in the 1800s. But there is an amazing organ in here that in 1847 played Mendelssohn's Wedding March for the very first time. You know, as we leave the church area here to go round to the castle, I've got to be honest, I am impressed by everything I've seen. But you may think this weird, but the thing that I'm really impressed by is the cobble paths that we're walking on, because they've probably been there for hundreds and hundreds of years, and I can't help thinking how many thousand genuine, devout people of Tiverton have walked this way.
These lovely big agaves, very nice, variegated too. Oh, looks like the tulips are finally going over. But look at this rose climbing up over the wall. Isn't that stunning? Oh, look at that! I think, I'm just guessing here, I think that's an echium. I love those. Big, tall spikes shooting up into the sky. And a cannon, as you do in your garden. Ah, this looks like a herb garden. I wonder if I'm right. Yes, that's lemon balm. I love lemon balm. Not sure what that is. And these look like daylilies, which you can eat the flowers of apparently, but don't try that unless you're sure. Don't go on my word. We've got some alliums. Oh, look at that one just bursting out of the bed. I'd love to have something like this in my garden. Oh, look at that ruin. Should we go in? Oh wow, look at this. There's some rather large boxes up there. Not sure what they're for. They may be for bats, but I thought bats had slits rather than holes, so I think they're perhaps for bigger birds. But look at that. Oh, you could sit out here for hours looking at your house and enjoying the gardens. The bird song, there's lots of it. Oh look, in this ruin there's a fireplace. Let's have a look to see if we can see the sky. You know we have to, it's the law. And yet you can see the sky.
We've only come 100 yards from that gorgeous church, and here we are stood in this gorgeous garden of an amazing house and some rather noisy birds.
I can hear some baby birds somewhere.
I think they might be in the bird box.
What do you think? Do you think they're up there?
They can hear me talking. I tell you what, I'll move over by there just so I don't disturb them with my loud Welsh voice. This house is actually a castle. It's a fortified house, but it was built very much for defence. Originally, 1106, there would have been a wooden Moreton Bailey castle here. But then in 1296, it was upgraded. The stone building went up. Much of the ruins that surround us were part of that building project. And the house that still stands, it's now a private residence. But on Sunday, between 2:30 and 5, you can come into the gardens for a small fee. But of course, as well as the beauty, which I'm sure Caroline is going to share in its abundance, there's a little bit of history. Because this castle, in all of its history, only saw battle once. And a single shot turned the battle. And the leader of the parliamentarians seized it from the Cavaliers. What happened? A stray shot, just a lucky shot. No one was aiming. And it hit the chain on the drawbridge, and the drawbridge came down. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Oh, let's go into the walled garden. Oh, look at this. Now that is impressive. I want to go up like this.
I want a house like that.
Okay. Look at these clematis around the archway. Oh, I love them. Look at the size on them. This lilac one, if I put my hand behind, look at that. There's a pink one. And what about this for a novel way to grow your strawberries? Keeps them up off the floor, away from the slugs. And you know where they are, they're not going to keep spreading out runners and taking over your veg plot. And lots of other plants, all ready to go into the garden. Oh look, there's a greenhouse. Oh, I can see bird of paradise plants in here. Oh, look at those, I love bird of paradise. We can't grow these in Wales, not without a lot of false heat, but look at that. You can see where they got the name, can't you? It's amazing. Wow, it's worth coming just to see this one plant. It's without everything else we're seeing. We have to look at this thermometer. 0, freezing, temperate, summer heat, blood heat, fever heat. Oh, look at this gorgeous potting shed. I love it. You've got a cold frame here inside, so that's probably very toasty. They look like beans to me. Are they stew on? Possibly. I can just see ST. Lots of cacti, and look at this bougainvillea. Wow, you can't grow those outdoors in the UK, but in this glass house it's plenty warm enough, and it's absolutely beautiful, bursting with flowers. Actually, I think they may not be the flowers. I think they may be the bracts, and the flowers are the little white things in the middle. It's still impressive. Gooseberries! I love gooseberries. They're a nightmare to pick, but they're beautiful to eat. This path has 80 steps and it leads down to the river. We're going to make an attempt at it and see how far we can get down before we have to give up. But it's very lush. It's quite shaded. You can still hear all the birds. I'd like to think we're now halfway. I'll let you know. We've still got quite a way to go and it's still quite shaded but lush. Look at all these ferns. So green here.
I quite like the neighbour's summer house. Not as grand as anything in here, but a lovely spot amongst the birds.
Very nice.
Now I'm trying to keep my voice down. Nice gentleman and his wife have just pointed out that there's a tawny owl in the tree. I've just taken a look, and now Caroline's taken a look, and he's perched up in the tree, and it's just amazing. This is such a magical place. I really love it here.
Drainage pipes. Now there's a boring subject, but look at this for a drainage hole coming up from the main building. Ooh, spooky dark. Ooh. Very impressive though. And then onwards and upwards back to the main house. And that's where we've just been, all the way down there. Very pretty it was, and well worth the climb. These are the grounds of Tiverton Castle, and we've had such a lovely time here in the gardens. I would really recommend, if you're in Tiverton, come in and at least see the gardens, and you can pay and go into the actual house too. It is well worth every penny of the £3 it cost us to see these gardens.
Now, I'm sure you're all wondering, when is he going to tell us the link between King Alfred, the king who baked his cakes a little too well? Well, it's simply this. Long before the powerful Earls of Devon resided here with their Plantagenet princesses, there was an established royal estate here from the 7th century. Town Tiverton, the first time that name was used was in 885. It was written in the will of King Alfred, and that's where the link comes in between the king who burnt his cakes and this amazing, just overwhelming town of Tiverton that we have enjoyed so much today. I hope you've enjoyed it too, and if you have, please give us a thumbs up.
Doing, doing, doing.
And don't forget, share it with all your friends. But most importantly, till the next time we're out and about, have fun. Bye.
Bye.